Welcome to the Costa Mesa Sports Scene. I am Bob Gibson. Well, we're out here at Orange Coast College where not too long ago they named a brand new women's basketball coach, Sammy Doucette. Well, if that name sounds familiar, it's because a year ago we were over just across the street talking to her as the head coach at Costa Mesa High School. Well, after a standout playing career as one of the best players ever to come through Vanguard University and the year at Costa Mesa High, now being named the head coach here at Orange Coast College, she hasn't had to go too far, but she's definitely on the rise. We'll talk about Coach Russ in just a minute, but I want to talk about your time at Vanguard as a player, and obviously it had to be it has to be a big help to have come from one of the top NAIA programs in the entire nation to be able to have played in that program and on the big stage as many times as you got a chance to.
Absolutely, I would not be where I am today without Coach Russ, without Vanguard. Vanguard was just such an amazing experience, and it was a roller coaster of an experience. You know, I actually injured myself at OCC when I was playing basketball there in April of my senior year, so season had finished. And at that point it was really OCC or Vanguard, and I decided to go to Vanguard because I did have that mentality of I'm going to a four-year, I don't want to go to a junior college. Knowing what I know now, would I have made the same decision? Well, yeah, because I had a great time at Vanguard, but at the same time, I didn't realize, JC ball is actually a great opportunity. But yeah, no, so Vanguard was just, I redshirted, I struggled with playing time my freshman year, and it was just a lot of growth, from a basketball player standpoint, educational standpoint, social standpoint, everything.
We talk about Coach Russ, which of course is Russ Davis, the Hall of Fame coach at Vanguard, and had been there so many years and impacted so many people in his time there. I mean, what you may not have known it at the time, but how much were you learning from him over these years that you now put into what you do as a coach?
So much, so much of how he demands control out of practice, little expectations that he holds his staff to, his players to. A lot of times he lets his players lead and he just sits back and, watches them figure things out. And I think that there are just so many characteristics of his coaching style or his philosophies that I took away.
Vanguard University recently put together an all-decade team. You were mentioned on that team. That's got to be a huge honor for you as well.
Yeah, no, that was definitely awesome. I didn't know that they were doing that. I happened to, see their post, and I thought that was really cool to be on that list, and I really appreciate it.
We talked about the 1 year at Costa Mesa. How important was that? What did you learn out of that 1 year as a high school basketball coach?
I think that year was crucial. I think that I got to prove a little bit of what I could do as a head coach, which is huge, I absolutely loved my team. My team was responsive to our staff. I loved everything about that job. I loved, the surprise of starting off kind of struggling in our preseason a little bit and then just taking off when league came and seeing those girls come together and just their confidence, really boom. I had a couple girls there who would tell me flat out at the beginning of the year that they thought they sucked, that they should be playing JV, and then these same kids ended up being all league. So it was really something special.
In her only season as head coach at Costa Mesa High, she turned around that struggling program and took them into a deep playoff run. Now couple that with the announced retirement of longtime head women's basketball coach Mike Thornton here at OCC, and it became the perfect storm for Sammy to get that opportunity right here with the Pirates. So, Coach, I want to talk to you about your decision to hire Sammy Doucette as your new women's basketball coach. Obviously, some big shoes to fill. Mike Thornton, the longtime coach at Orange Coast College. But why was Sammy the right choice for the Pirate program right now?
When we went through the hiring process and we got to hear what Sammy was all about, she gave us a really comprehensive overview of what her program was going to be. And there was so much focus on the athlete. We put a lot of focus on academics first. She came in and showed that to us as well. But really the competitive drive that she has just stood out. I never got to see her play, but I got to hear about it a little bit, and just talking to her, you can tell how competitive she is day in and day out. And it just fits the mold of what we're looking for with our coaches, trying to balance that academic support and academic excellence, and then athletic as well.
And I mentioned Mike Thornton before. Obviously, some big shoes to fill. He had done so much there. Really, just a stalwart there at on the Pirate campus. You obviously had to. That you had to have the right person to come in and be able to fill those shoes.
Yeah, that was going to be one of the tallest tasks that we had on campus. You had someone who not only was synonymous with Orange Coast College, but with women's basketball as well. We always talk about the sports at California Community College level. Some schools just tend to have that sport that you tie the school with the sport, and one of ours is women's basketball, and has been because of Coach Thornton. I had the pleasure of working with Coach Thornton through the conference for 10 years, so my respect for him couldn't have been higher. And it was one of those days where you got to do it, and you have to do it right. And I really feel like we did it. We got the right person to replace him and keep that legacy moving forward.
I absolutely loved Coach Thornton, and I didn't play for him, but I had a really good relationship with him. He always talked about how much he loved the job. I got to see OCC grow from when I was at Vanguard, from when I was at Costa Mesa. Mike Thornton actually recruited me to OCC, so I spent a lot of time on that campus prior to being the head coach there. I just think it's a great developmental stage for these young girls, and I get to play a little bit of a responsibility in where their next move is, because I feel like a lot of young athletes decide to go to a Division I school or Division II school any 4-year really because of the gear or because of the notoriety, and I think that they end up transferring. So I really wanted to be in a position where I could help develop them and make sure that they're mature enough for the correct decision.
So what are your plans for Orange Coast College as the new head coach now? Obviously the pandemic has thrown a big wrinkle into everything, and you're not doing as much as you would have liked to have been doing right now, but what are the first things that you tried to put in place to put your culture now within this program?
Well, I definitely am not going to allow this pandemic to slow us down. I don't want to make excuses for us, so I definitely want to, as soon as school starts, we're going virtual, we're going Monday through Friday, we're going to make it happen. I've got a very big group of girls coming in. I'm so excited to see them perform. Hopefully we get that opportunity. But we're going to do a lot of creative things as far as read a book together. We'll do some play study over Zoom. We're still going to try to implement our expectations. It's going to be a little bit more difficult because we're not going to have that, in practice, expecting the high energy, things like that. But they're still going to be expected to do their study hall. We're going to log that. We're going to hold them accountable virtually, in person, whatever we're allowed to do, that's what we're going to do.
And as of right now, we're still planning on there being a basketball season, that we're going to be able to play basketball somehow during this whole thing?
As of now, we are set to play in February until I think the final decision is October 1st. But my mindset and my team's mindset is we have a goal, and season is our goal. So we're going full force with what we can do until then.
Hopefully we can put this pandemic in the rearview mirror and Sammy can get on the court with her new team. For the Costa Mesa Sports Scene, I am Bob Gibson.